The day I realized the HOA wanted my home, I thought it was a joke. I had lived in Oakwood Estates for 6 years, paid my dues on time, maintained my lawn better than anyone on the street, and kept my property in pristine condition. But when a thick, ominous envelope appeared in my mailbox, stamped with "Final Demand" in angry red letters, I felt that first prick of unease that would turn into a full-blown war. Inside was a letter stating that I owed the HOA over $8,400 in unpaid fines. The alleged violations: unauthorized mailbox color, improper trash bin storage, and unapproved landscaping modifications. All lies. My mailbox was the same as the day I moved in, my bins were kept behind a fence, and my landscaping modification was nothing more than planting hydrangeas in my backyard. Yet the letter claimed that if I didn't pay within 30 days, the HOA would place a lien on my home and seize it. At first, I thought it was a clerical error. Surely I could call the HOA office, explain the mix-up, and clear my name. But when I called, the woman who answered, voice dripping with smugness, said, "You'll have to take it up with the president of the HOA, Mrs. Pennington." That was when I understood the danger. Mrs. Evelyn Pennington was the neighborhood's self-appointed queen, a woman who ran the HOA with an iron fist and a vindictive streak that was legendary. People whispered stories about her, how she had forced one family to remove their swing set because it was too bright, and told another to repaint their home twice in a single year because the hue didn't match community guidelines. She lived 3 houses down from me, always watching from behind her manicured hedges, notebook in hand, ready to jot down infractions. The next day, I knocked on her door. She opened it just enough for her face to peek out, eyes sharp and unblinking. I held up the letter. "This has to be a mistake," I said. She smiled, not warmly, but like a cat toying with a mouse. "No mistake. You've been in violation for months. It's all documented." She slammed the door before I could respond. I stood there, stunned, the sound of her deadbolt clicking echoing like a gavel. By week's end, I started getting more letters. Each one listed new violations. Lawn height exceeds community regulation by 1.5 inches. Improper holiday lighting. Vehicle parked facing the wrong direction. It became clear. This wasn't about rules. This was personal. I was being targeted. My neighbor Tom, an older veteran who'd lived here for decades, pulled me aside one evening. "She's done this before," he whispered. "She runs the HOA like her own kingdom. She picks a target every year, bleeds them with fines, then forces them to sell. She's got friends on the board, so no one stops her." He looked at me grimly. "You're her new project." I could have rolled over, paid the fines, and prayed she left me alone. But something in me snapped. This wasn't a tea just about my house anymore. It was about not letting a bully take what she wanted. I started documenting everything. I photographed my yard, my mailbox, my bins, my car, time-stamped and dated. I kept every letter she sent and wrote down every interaction. I even installed cameras around my property. Within days, I caught her sneaking onto my lawn with a tape measure, verifying my grass height at dawn. Another time, my cameras recorded her scribbling on a clipboard while standing in my driveway. The evidence piled up. But I knew evidence alone wouldn't save me. The HOA board was stacked with her allies. They wouldn't care about my proof. They'd protect their queen. I needed a different plan. That's when I met Carla, a sharp attorney who specialized in HOA disputes. She'd been recommended by a friend and had a reputation for dismantling corrupt boards. When I laid out my case, she leaned back in her chair, smirking. This woman's overplayed her hand. We were not just going to stop her, we were going to break her grip on this neighborhood. Carla filed a formal demand for records, citing state HOA transparency laws. We requested meeting minutes, financial statements, and every violation notice ever issued in the past 5 years. The HOA resisted, of course, claiming confidentiality. But Carla knew the law. If they didn't comply, we could take them to court. Weeks later, a box of documents arrived. That's when the real scandal surfaced. The violations were selective. Most board members' homes had glaring violations that were ignored. Worse, there were maintenance fees paid to companies owned by Pennington's relatives. The HOA was funneling money into her pockets. We brought this evidence to the next HOA meeting. It was held in the community clubhouse, a sterile room that suddenly felt like a courtroom. I sat quietly as Carla took the floor, presenting photo after photo, financial report after financial report. Gasps rippled through the crowd as she revealed the nepotism, the targeted harassment, and the illegal fines. Mrs. Pennington's face turned a shade of crimson I'd never seen before. She tried to shout Carla down, but the other homeowners, many of whom had been her victims, were now demanding answers. Someone yelled, "Call for a vote!" Another shouted, "Remove her!" That night, the vote passed to strip Pennington of her presidency. She stormed out of the clubhouse muttering threats, but the damage was done. The next week, the board rescinded every fine against me and issued a formal apology. Pennington's empire had crumbled in a single evening, but I wasn't done. With Carla's help, I filed a civil suit against the HOA for harassment and emotional distress. Months later, we won a settlement that not only covered my legal fees, but gave me enough to renovate my entire home. Word spread fast. Oakwood Estates was no longer a place where one woman could terrorize her neighbors. Every time I walked past Pennington's old house, now sold to a pleasant young couple who keep to themselves, I remember that day she smirked at me from her doorway, convinced she would take my home. She didn't realize that by pushing me, she had awakened a fight she couldn't win. And in the end, the home she tried to steal became the place where I proved that even in the most manicured, rule-bound neighborhoods, a bully can be beaten.